this video, you'll learn the day-to-day supplies you actually need, the reusable tools that make selling easier, and the apps that save you time. The goal here is to help you buy only what you need without having to break the bank. This is not about advanced strategies, bulk shipping setups, or warehouse level tools. These supplies, tools, and apps are great for part-time or casual resellers who don't want to make this a full-time business. Let's talk about supplies. These are day-to-day things that you'll need. This is stuff you'll regularly use and also replace. So the shipping supplies that you'll need is a poly mailer or boxes. Some tape and scissors are helpful. Some tissue paper or packing paper is nice if you want to package a higher end item or have a different presentation to it. Not required. Bubble wrap is also good to have if you are shipping breakables or fragile items. Now, if you have a printer, then you'll need printing paper and ink. And if you have a thermal printer, you'll just need printing labels. There are extra shipping supplies that you can use, like thank you cards. You can order them and buy them online, or you can make them on Canva and print them out yourself. If you want to have ribbon and package the package a certain way, if you want to have stickers as well. But these are all extra add-ons and they're not required. Now, if you're not sure how shipping works on Poshmark, I made a video walking you through step by step how to ship items on Poshmark. I'll leave the link up here on the screen for you or below in the description. So some other supplies that come in handy are cleaning supplies. You don't need to have a fancy setup or a particular station just for your reselling cleaning supplies. I like to use the same detergent that I use for my clothing, and I also just have a basic stain remover. So next, let's talk about tools. These are things that you purchase that are optional upgrades, but you reuse them over and over again. These tools can make selling easier and faster. So a printer is a great thing to have for your shipping labels, but of course, if you do not have a printer, you don't need to go spend money on that. Poshmark gives you a QR code, so you can just bring that to the post office to ship your items, so you don't need to spend money up front when you're starting out. Now, if you're interested in investing in a thermal printer, I did a few years in after I realized this is something I want to stick with. I got the Rollo printer, I love it, but there are other options online as well. Now, I personally actually just started with a regular printer because that's what I had when I first started reselling back in 2019. And then years later,
2,000 years later,
after I continued sticking with it, I ended up investing in the thermal printer when I was doing more full-time reselling. So some other tools that'll come in handy are photo and listing tools. Now, you really don't need a fancy camera if you want to invest in one, or if you have one, great. Otherwise, your phone works just fine. And that's what I did for years. Having a clear image and good lighting matters more than what type of camera or phone you're taking your image on. Now, if you can't invest in anything, a natural window light works great, but also if you can invest, having a ring light or some of those studio lights work great, and Amazon has them for an affordable price as well. If you'd like, you can make a backdrop or a photo stand, but that is not needed. You can add a simple wall hanging and do photos on the wall. You can do them on the floor. Some clothing tools that come in handy are sweater shavers. This is something I did not know about until I started reselling, and now I actually use it for my own personal stuff all the time. It removes that pilling that builds up on sweaters, so it's super nice and gives a sweater a cleaner look as well. Another nice thing is a lint roller, just in case it has little fuzzlies on it. And then another great one is a steam or an iron if you need to take wrinkles out. The only reason I mention these tools is because if you iron out wrinkles or take off lint or remove the pilling, it has a better presentation in the photo. And the better the photo, it does increase the chances of your item selling.
I believe you've just won your case.
Just think about yourself when you're scrolling through Poshmark. If you see a shirt that is crinkly, all wadded up, that doesn't really depict what it looks like, but you have one that is clean, flat, laid in a nice, presentable way, which one are you more likely to click on? Now, if you're someone who is part-time, but you don't want to quite be full-time, but you're open to sourcing, or you even just like thrifting for yourself, I like having reusable totes. This makes it easy. Now, if you have a lot of items that can't all sit in your closet or in drawers, you might want to think about storage bins or ways to inventory your items. I will be making a video later on explaining my storage system, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the video when that gets published. Now, if you're someone who just goes to thrift stores, I don't wear gloves necessarily in thrift stores, but if you've been to Goodwill Outlet World, I love going to Goodwill Outlet World, but definitely wear some gloves because you have no idea what is in those bins. And I've come across broken glass, poopy diapers. There was a dead rat in one once too.
Ew, that's gross!
I've heard other stories where people have like come across needles and things like that. So it's just good to have gloves. And the gloves I like to use were from Walmart. They're like $1, maybe $5. And they're those glass protectant ones. And then this is just extra, but I personally love to have hand sanitizer or wipes. So whenever I leave the thrift store, I have something to clean my hands with. Now let's talk about apps. These are time savers, but they're not required. So if you're just starting out and you're just starting on Poshmark, there's something called cross-listing. This means you can post your item on multiple platforms like eBay, Mercari, Depop, etc. And instead of you having to actually upload the photo, the description, everything on each individual platform, these apps help you so you can cross-list on the platform so you don't have to redo the work multiple times. Some cross-listing apps might be like Prime Lister or Flip or Vendoo. There are other ones out there. I personally, when I was full-time, I was using Prime Lister, but once I stopped doing full-time, it wasn't worth it for me to continue buying it because I wasn't cross-listing anymore on eBay. I decided just to focus on Poshmark. So if you are starting out, you don't need to worry about these apps, but if you decide eventually this is something you're interested in, then you know that that option is out there for you. Another thing about these apps that's nice is that they have kind of an automation tool. Some of them will automatically send offers or share your closet on Poshmark depending on what platform you're on. And previously, I would have my Poshmark closet continuously shared and I would have automatic offers sent once someone liked an item. But once I stopped going full time and having that extra money coming in, it wasn't worth it for me as a part-time seller to spend the money for these apps. But that is up to you. It all depends on how much money you're making or if it's worth it for you. I did just make a video on Poshmark updates, which is related to sharing your closet, which doesn't really put as much weight or importance anymore, which if you're interested in learning that, I'll leave the link up on the screen for you or the video down below in the description. So another thing that can come in handy are photo editing apps. You can download them on your phone. You can buy a fancy software, that's up to you. I know some sellers like to do that. Personally, I have never edited my photos. I focused more on the lighting of the item so it was clear and crisp and I didn't need to edit it. And then in the app, if I did have to do a little brightening, I'd brighten it up ever so slightly, but so it still depicted the actual item. And I actually did that all from within the Poshmark app. Other apps that can come in handy are inventory trackers or spreadsheets. So now I shared with you a ton of supplies, tools, and apps, and you don't need to buy everything at once. Start with simple. Start with the things you actually need. You actually need shipping supplies. I would use natural lighting for the photos. I would use my camera phone. I wouldn't invest in any apps. I would only use free apps. I would truly try and spend as little as possible so that way I wasn't putting as much money up front into it. I would wait until I make some money and then buy what I want or do upgrades based on what I sell on Poshmark. Now, of course, if you have the budget and you want to spend money on like a thermal printer or some of these apps, go for it. I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong. It all depends on your circumstances, what you can afford, and what's right for you. And what are your goals with Poshmark? Are you someone who wants to just be a casual part-time seller from your own closet? Are you someone who maybe wants to dabble and buy some things and sell? Or are you someone who wants to go full out and be a full-time seller? It all depends on what your focus is. So I'm curious, what are your goals? Are you someone who just wants to be casual or someone who wants to dive head in and go full time? Leave it in the comments below. I would say one of my biggest regrets when I started Poshmark was overbuying supplies and tools.